Following the end of the Civil War, Sri Lanka re-emerged as a significant global maritime transport hub. The historic port of Colombo, established by the British in the 18th century, has been expanded and modernised. New ports have also been constructed to accommodate an increasing number of both cargo and cruise ships. While this burgeoning maritime activity has boosted the economy, it has also led to a rise in drug smuggling. On the night of Maka Butcher Day, a vibrant procession illuminates the streets of Colombo. As the full moon shines brightly overhead, people line the streets, eager to witness the spectacle. Elephants, adorned in colourful fabrics, move slowly through the crowd, followed by a float carrying a pristine white Buddha statue. A long line of young men, dressed in traditional white attire decorated with bright red embellishments, marches rhythmically down the street. Their elaborate ornaments clink with each step as they perform dynamic and powerful dances. This traditional performance, primarily by men, showcases the strength and pride of the participants. The next morning we venture into a different world. A winding road leads us through lush green hills to a small village nestled on a hillside. At the edge of the village, a temple stands amidst the trees. This is a rehabilitation centre for drug addicts. Over 100 young men from diverse backgrounds are undergoing treatment here. Some are wealthy, others poor. Some are educated, others not. Yet, they all share a common struggle. They've all fallen victim to drug addiction. Pujan, a sharp-looking young man, speaks fluent English and is a graduate of the country's most prestigious university. He once enjoyed a thriving career as a manager at a financial institution. It seems like he had everything, until drugs took over his life.
The first time that I used drugs was when I was 13 years old, and that was smoking. So after that, I increased the amount that I was using. So during this 10 to 12 years of my drug addiction life, I used almost every types of drugs that are known to man. So from smoking to heroin.
Addiction forced him to quit his job and end his relationship. Before his life spiraled completely out of control, he made the difficult decision to quit cold turkey and seek help at the temple.
In the last few years, I was more addicted and all my life was drifting away. So all my loved ones were moving away from me. They couldn't cope with me. So I had to make a decision either to live or to let go. So after a while, thinking for a while, I actually thought that I need to live more. I had to do something.
Decided to come here.
I decided to come here. And
was that hard to make such a decision?
It was very hard because I had to leave everything and come, because I was raised and I was doing things in a very different way. So I had to let go of all those and try to build a new life.
Buddhism remains deeply ingrained in the lives of Sri Lankans. Despite the government's efforts, the escalating drug problem has overwhelmed agencies, necessitating alternative solutions. In this context, temples have taken on a significant role.
අලුත් තැනක් මේකටම ගැලපෙන තැනක්
The Venerable Kapilavatthe Bodhananda Thera, the founder and director of the Drug Rehabilitation Centre, explains that he wants to create a middle ground for those seeking recovery. This space, he argues, should balance isolation and connection, providing an appropriate setting for addiction treatment. Over 20 years ago, this rehabilitation centre began as a humble mud hut with a thatched roof. Today, it has evolved into a modest two-storey building. To accommodate the increasing number of individuals seeking treatment, an additional building is currently under construction. The centre's approach to rehabilitation is unique, relying solely on behavioural therapy. It begins with acknowledging the problem, followed by strengthening the mind through discipline and responsibility. The communal living arrangements, where individuals share a common sleeping space, foster a sense of camaraderie and support. The understanding that one is not alone in this struggle is a crucial aspect of the recovery process. The second floor of the building serves as a gathering space for all those undergoing treatment. The air is filled with the scent of incense offered to the Buddha statue. The monk's calm voice guides the group as they begin to chant in deep, low tones. Afterwards, each individual takes turns sharing their personal stories of addiction and recovery. This open and honest sharing fosters mutual understanding and support among those on the same path.
මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ හිතේ ඇඟේ නෙවෙයි මයින්ඩ් එකේ තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ. එතකොට
The Venerable Kapilavatthe Bodhananda Thera says that the root of the problem is often psychological rather than physical. He explains that treatment strategies typically involve two approaches: somatic therapies to cleanse the body of drugs, and psycho-spiritual therapies based on Buddhist principles. These latter therapies focus on developing mental fortitude by understanding the harmful consequences of drug use and cultivating the motivation to cease substance abuse. The treatment philosophy centers on the belief that drug addiction is a mental issue. Behavioral therapy is employed to guide individuals toward finding meaning and purpose in life. By isolating them from their old environment and habits, the center encourages positive behavioral changes. This begins with simple tasks, such as repairing furniture and gardening, to build self-confidence and a sense of accomplishment. Gradually, they progress to more complex tasks, ultimately breaking free from the grip of addiction. This teardrop-shaped island in the Indian Ocean has emerged as a significant drug trafficking hub in Asia. Sri Lanka's strategic location as a key port city, coupled with its proximity to the Golden Crescent, which includes Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan, and the Golden Triangle drug production regions on the borders of Myanmar, Thailand and Laos, has made it a rapidly growing hub for drug trafficking between East and West. Drugs are smuggled to Sri Lanka on cargo ships from India's southern coast. Once there, they are transferred to smaller vessels and brought ashore. These drugs are then distributed to Western markets. Thousands of small boats crisscross the waters around this island nation daily, making drug inspections and monitoring extremely challenging.
Normally, actually, in Sri Lanka, that they use that sea routes. Sometimes they use our local fishermen because they are going to the deep sea to catch fish. then sometimes that their businesses also sometimes getting losses. Then the traffickers, they know, they monitor, and they sometimes that they catch these people, and they use these people to smuggle those things into the country.
Authorities initially focused on arresting minor offenders, but soon shifted their attention to intercepting major drug traffickers. Arrests alone are, however, not enough. Looking to countries like the Philippines, Sri Lanka feels compelled to adopt a more aggressive approach, inspired by examples from nations facing similar challenges. The drug war under former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte from 2016 to 2022 sparked global debate. Tens of thousands were arrested or killed during raids and crackdowns, leading to widespread condemnation. Yet some praised Duterte's tough stance as bold and effective. This approach resonated with Sri Lanka. In January 2019, during a visit to the Philippines, former President Maithripala Sirisena praised Duterte's drug war, calling it an example to the world. The Sri Lankan government has consistently battled drug issues across multiple administrations. As the drug problem worsened, the Philippine-style crackdown emerged as a potential solution. While the death penalty was abolished in the Philippines in 2006, President Rodrigo Duterte attempted to reinstate it. Although unsuccessful, Duterte authorized police to use lethal force against drug traffickers, intensifying the country's war on drugs. In contrast, Sri Lanka retains the death penalty on its statute books, though executions have not been carried out for 48 years, with the last occurring in 1976. The revival of capital punishment has posed challenges, including the need to recruit new executioners due to the advanced age or deaths of previous ones. Sri Lanka resumed the recruitment of executioners in February 2019. To become a Sri Lankan executioner, one must be mentally strong, male, and a Sri Lankan citizen between the ages of 18 and 45. The position offers a maximum monthly salary of approximately $126, which is higher than the average government salary, and includes automatic retirement benefits. According to Human Rights Watch, there are currently 1,284 prisoners on death row in Sri Lanka. Of these, 48 have been convicted of drug-related offences, with 18 awaiting execution and 30 in the appeals process.
Judiciary section and the Attorney General Department, they have submitted a report to the President, including around 16 to 18 names. Those are drug dealers. They are also still doing the business, staying inside the prison. The list is there. I think very soon it will be implemented.
The death penalty has long been considered a powerful tool for combating crime. Its effectiveness in deterring drug-related offences remains, however, questionable. Despite its use in at least 34 countries worldwide, including major democracies like India and the United States, drug trafficking thrives. In 2023, at least 5 countries, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Singapore, carried out executions for drug-related offences. According to Harm Reduction International, there were 467 such executions in 2023, a 44% increase from the previous year. Furthermore, at least 3,000 people were awaiting execution in 19 countries, with Iran leading the way with 459. Despite these harsh punishments, the global drug trade has not only persisted, but flourished. The production of opium and cocaine has reached record highs, highlighting the limitations of the death penalty as a deterrent. A central question remains, though. Does the death penalty effectively deter drug abuse? This debate has intensified in Sri Lanka, where the government recently sentenced 6 more individuals to death for drug-related offences. Those on the front lines of the drug crisis, such as temple-based rehabilitation centres, witness firsthand the devastating impact of addiction. While some individuals successfully overcome their addiction, many struggle to break free. This experience has led some to support the reinstatement of the death penalty.
එසා මරණීය දණ්ඩනය කියලා කියන එකට නෙමෙයි.
The Venerable Kapilavattī Bodhananda Thera says that Sri Lanka has a moratorium on the death penalty. While offenders are punished for their crimes, some argue that repeat offenders should face capital punishment, though.
The police and the other law enforcement agencies also, we are also in that same feeling, because actually if they're still doing those trafficking inside the prison, we have to impose the penalty. That's the thing.
In the shared sleeping quarters, a mix of emotions is evident. Some newcomers, exhausted from withdrawal, lie motionless, while others find solace in prayer or journaling their progress. The centre's approach to rehabilitation is grounded in Buddhist principles, emphasizing meditation to calm the mind. Pujan, a former addict, often retreats to a quiet corner to meditate, believing that a clear mind is essential for breaking free from addiction. He strongly opposes the death penalty, arguing that it doesn't address the root causes of drug addiction.
We're talking about life, so I can't actually take another person's life. So I can't say that a person's life is not valuable because he is actually dealing drugs. So I think I will leave that towards more people who are more educated and have more knowledge about this topic.
Although Sri Lanka recruited executioners as early as 2019 and announced plans to reinstate the death penalty, no executions have actually been carried out to date. International human rights organisations remain concerned, though, as the death penalty law remains in effect. There is a fear that executions may resume in the future. Sri Lanka has long battled a persistent drug problem, with each successive government attempting to address it. These efforts are, however, often seen as politically motivated, aimed at boosting popularity rather than providing genuine solutions. In 2023, under President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Operation Yuktia was launched, deploying police and military to conduct nationwide searches. This operation led to the arrests of over 58,000 suspects and the seizure of drugs worth millions of dollars. While the new government, under President Hanura Kumara Dissanayaka, has pledged to continue the crackdown, the root causes of the drug problem and interdicting complex trafficking networks remain significant challenges. Past operations have also raised concerns about human rights violations, including unlawful arrests and torture, necessitating urgent investigation and reform. Maha Butcher Day has come and gone. The elephants have shed their ceremonial attire and returned to captivity. Performers have laid down their drums and traded their elaborate costumes for everyday clothes. As the next significant religious or cultural festival like Vesak approaches, they will once again don their costumes and take to the stage. Sri Lanka is a land of contrasts. Vibrant traditional performances, deep-rooted in Buddhist faith, and the scars of civil war coexist alongside tea plantations, spice gardens, pristine landscapes, and bustling port cities. Beneath this surface, though, lies a darker reality. The persistent issue of drug trafficking and smuggling. The potential reinstatement of the death penalty could significantly alter the world's perception of this nation.